All right, guys and gals, I think we have this working, and take number, I don't know, this is probably take number 12. We're trying to get Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom all to play together nicely, and I think we've got it working. So we have an event coming up tomorrow. It's called Together We Can Get the Rent Paid, and we are testing all of our channels right now and taking time to tell you a little bit about the event. So first, it's a free virtual event. It's about rental and utility resources. It's Friday at 10 a.m. You can register and attend on Zoom. You can watch it live on Facebook. And now I think you can watch it live on YouTube. Cross your fingers that this test works and we'll be good. So I have a question for you. Are you a renter, or do you know one who might be struggling in paying their rent? Either it's tough to pay rent now because of COVID, or you haven't paid rent at all, or eviction is looming. It's already in process. It's already through. We're just waiting for the moratorium to lift and you're facing being set out of the house. Or are you a housing provider? You're struggling to keep your rental property because you have a renter that's not paying or struggling to pay. You're just waiting for the moratorium to lift so that you can evict them, so you can get a new renter, and so you don't get foreclosed. You're struggling paying your mortgage payment, you're struggling paying the taxes, you're struggling paying insurance, you're struggling to keep the property up, all because you have no money coming in and it's affecting everything. What if there was a better option? Rather than waiting for the moratorium to lift, it's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of if it's going to be lifted, it's a matter of when. It's going to lift at some point, and it's going to be really bad for not only the renters that are being evicted, but the housing providers who haven't been paid in months and months and months. They may never be able to recover from this. But is there a better option? And we say there is. We say that we all need to work together. Together we can, remember, we can tap into the $500 million coming into our area for rental assistance, housing assistance, and assistance with utilities. $500 million, it goes a long way. But what if you could tap into this and get that rent paid, getting rent paid going all the way back to April, also going forward for up to 3 months. Housing providers, would you consider working with your renter to apply for this rental assistance, and instead of filing eviction? If you have an eviction in process, would you consider working with your renter, applying for this rental assistance, getting the rent brought up, and then setting aside, just canceling the eviction process? Maybe you already have one that's completed. You're just waiting for the moratorium to be lifted. Would you maybe help your renter apply for assistance, get them caught up, and completely ignore the eviction, just mark it satisfied and let the renter stay there and continue to pay rent? I would talk to your attorneys to make sure that everything is done correctly, but I think that is an option. And would you work with your renters just to help them get caught up, get the money that is owed you so that you can bring all of your bills current, and help them get 3 months extra of rent payment while we get a little bit further down the process of getting vaccines and getting everybody back to work? And renters, I want to ask you, would you consider finding a way to stay in your home, whether you're facing eviction or not, so that you don't have to move, you don't have to go find a new place to live, you don't have to come up with a new security deposit, you don't have to pack everything up and move. Stay put, continue renting from your current housing provider. Would you work with your housing provider? Just think about that. Nobody has to be evicted, nobody has to move. Rents get caught up, your landlord can pay all of their bills behind the house, there's no foreclosures, there's no evictions. Together, if we all work together, we can get the rent paid. So that would be renters, housing providers, community leaders, and resources. We're all coming together to Friday, March 19th at 10 a.m. We will be streaming live on Zoom and on Facebook and on YouTube. This is sponsored by Casey Regional Housing Alliance and their member groups, as well as United Way of Greater Kansas City. Some of our guests include not only our people from Casey Regional Housing Alliance, Jim McDonald from the United Way of Greater Kansas City, Ryan Vincent from Kansas Housing Resources Corp. So if you're in the Kansas side of the metro, Ryan and his team with KHRC are going to be the people you're going to connect with to get rents paid in Kansas. If you're watching and joining us from Wichita, the city of Wichita will have its own program. Next up, we have the city of Kansas City, Missouri. We'll have Jennifer Tidwell and Tiffany Drummer. They will be joining us, telling us the services that are available through the city. Kansas City, Missouri is a metropolitan area that got its own funding, so they have their own programs. We also have Jenny Miller from Missouri Housing Development Commission. She has 2 programs for the entire state of Missouri through MHDC. And they will, one is for the landlord to apply for, one is for the renter to apply for. And for the most part, they cover the entire state of Missouri, except for one program doesn't affect Kansas City, Missouri, who has its own money, and the city of St. Louis that has its own money. Also joining us will be Celeste Tucker from KCMO Water Services to help show some of the programs available to help you get your water bills paid if you're struggling. Charles Johnson with I Am My Brother's Keeper is joining us to help connect you with food services. And I know when there's trying to get the rent paid, there's talk of eviction, there's forms, there's documents, and this has been going on for a long time. There's a lot of stress and conflict between housing providers and renters. And the Center for Conflict Resolution is going to join us and give us some tips on how to resolve some of that conflict. And then I know a lot of people are struggling in applying for these programs because you actually need a real live computer and internet access. It's not always able to do that on your cell phone. So the group Keeping Communities on Guard is offering services, and they're going to be telling us about it Friday, how you can get help with in-person application completion. So you can sit down at a computer with someone and work your way through the application process. I also understand you can get similar help at the Kansas City, Missouri Public Library. So that will be tomorrow, Friday, and together we can get the rent paid. And if you would like to participate, join us live on Zoom or watch us on our live stream. All of these links are available if you go to kcregionalhousingalliance.org/help, and that will give you the link to sign up on Zoom, and it'll also give you the link to our Facebook page and our YouTube page so you can watch them streaming live tomorrow at 10. You'll also find the replays at that same location. And if you wanted to start right now, you could dial 211 on your phone, or you could go to 211kc.org. That'll connect you with a resource from the United Way. They'll ask you a few questions so it knows the help you need and where you live, so it can connect you, or they can connect you with the best resource to get you help right now. So I look forward to seeing all of you joining us tomorrow on Zoom, on Facebook, or on YouTube, and together we can get the rent paid.